When are you getting married? If you're in your late 20s or 30s, you've probably heard this question more times than you can count. Perhaps it comes with a knowing look at family dinners. Maybe it's disguised as concern about your happiness. Or maybe it's delivered as a direct ultimatum. So, when are you getting married? That question has triggered anxiety. It has caused people to doubt themselves. It has pushed some into marriage they were not ready for. And so today, I'm going to talk about it honestly, because behind that question is a much bigger issue. Should parents pressure their adult children to get married? Is it love? Is it concern? Or is it culture? Is it even fear? Or could it be control disguised as care? Let's talk about it openly, compassionately, and truthfully in today's video. Welcome back to my channel. I am Taya Aluko as always, and before I get started, I want to be clear. This video is not about whether marriage is good or bad, or whether parents should have opinions about their children's life. It's about understanding a dynamic that affects millions of people worldwide and exploring both the cultural context and the very real consequences. So let's look at situations when concerns turn into pressure. Most parents will say, I'm just concerned. And that might be true. But concern becomes pressure when it is repeated, when it is timed, when it is loaded with emotion, when it is framed as urgency or tied to approval. Now, pressure is not always loud. In fact, the most damaging pressure is often quiet and consistent. Subtle pressure. It sounds like this. You're not getting any younger. All your mates are married now. You are too picky. Marriage will make you settle down, or it will settle you. I just want to carry my grandchildren before I die. These statements are rarely said once. They are said over years, and over time, they plant anxiety, fear of missing out, fear of disappointing parents, fear of being left behind. Then you also have the not so subtle pressure. That is direct pressure. And it looks like this. Comparisons with siblings or with cousins. Open comparison. Publicly questioning, young adults at family gatherings, emotional blackmail, religious manipulation, threats of withdrawal of emotional support or financial support. At some point, marriage stops being a personal decision. It now becomes a family project. So let's look at, why do parents do this? Why do they put pressure on their adult children? This is the part we must understand, because the truth is most parents are not trying to destroy their children's lives. I have adult children myself, and I definitely want them to get married. Parental pressure, it happens because of fear of loneliness for their children, fear of societal judgment, desire to have grandchildren, anxiety about legacy, regret over their own delayed or failed choices, So you find out sometimes parents are projecting. I don't want my children to suffer what I suffered. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Your fears are not your children's calling. A parent's anxiety does not equal divine timing. Cultural expectations do not equal readiness. And love that pressures instead of prepares often leads to regret. Now, I want to look at, if it's a cultural thing or if it's a geographic issue. And the answer is yes and no. Because you find out that in many African, Asian, Middle Eastern societies and religious societies, marriage is seen as an adulthood final stamp. Single people are often taken as unserious, And in these cultures, married child validates the parents, and an unmarried child sometimes is questions. So the pressure is not always about the child. Often it's about how the parents will also be perceived. But you find out that in societies that are individualistic, mainly the Western world, marriage is delayed because personal fulfillment is prioritized and singlehood is less of a stigma. But having said that, we still need to be clear that pressure exists everywhere. It just wears different clothing, especially intense pressure. You find out that it usually falls on women who are over 30, firstborn children, high-achieving professionals, children from respected families or leaders in societies. So what are the consequences of pressure-driven marriage? And this is the part that I will not sugarcoat. As a counselor, I have heard sentences like, I married because I was tired of explaining myself. I married because my parents were embarrassing me. I married because time was going and there was so much pressure. You find out that pressure produces marriages that are built on fear instead of clarity, urgency instead of wisdom, and compliance instead of conviction. Very sad. And the consequences of this is real. When this happens, you have people ignoring red flags, you have emotional disconnection, you have unresolved resentment, you have suppressed identity. When people don't really know who they are, the adult children, you have silent suffering. And of course, a higher risk of divorce because people are marrying just to satisfy other people. Let me talk a bit more on a few of these issues. For instance, there's a personal toll. The pressure to marry can have serious psychological effects. Anxiety, depression, and feelings of inadequacy are some of the psychological effects that are common among people facing constant pressure. Some develop strained relationship with their own identity and their desires. They become unsure of what they actually want vis-a-vis what they're being told to want. Then you also have the fact that it could lead to an erosion of the parent-child relationship. What should be a source of support becomes a source of stress. Family gatherings become ordeals for the adult. Something that they endure rather than enjoy. And then you have rushed and unsuitable marriages. And this is perhaps the most serious consequence because then you have adults entering into marriage primarily to relieve the pressure that they're going through. And studies have consistently shown that marriages that are entered into for external reasons rather than for mutual commitment have higher rates of dissatisfaction and divorce. When people marry to please parents or to get rid of the pressure, rather than because they found a compatible partner, they are building their lives on a shaky foundation. The pressure usually doesn't account for accountability, shared values, or genuine connection. All it does, it gives you a status of being married. You must know that marriage will never heal emotional readiness gaps where they exist. What it will do is that it will expose them the more. A rushed marriage does not end pressure. What it does is that it creates a new type of pressure, and often a more damaging one. Having said that, are there any benefits to parental involvement at all? Now let's be balanced, or let me be balanced. Parental involvement is not the enemy. Parental coercion is. There's a difference. Healthy involvement will look like asking your young adult reflective questions, encouraging them to go for counseling if need be, supporting their emotional growth, teaching them relationship skills, modeling what a healthy marriage looks like. Now, this is different from enforcing timelines. And it's important to know that marriage should always be entered from conviction and not from compliance. What can we parents do then, or what should we be doing instead? If you're a parent like me watching this, please hear this gently. Your child's marital status is not a report card on your parenting. What you can do, instead of asking of when will you marry, ask, how are you emotionally? Where are you at? What support do you need? What lessons have you learned about relationships? Do you have any past wounds you need to heal from? And how is that healing journey going? Help your child prepare, not panic. Because a delayed marriage is better than a damaged one. Now, let me say this to adult children who might be feeling any kind of pressure. If you're an adult child feeling pressure, know that you are not behind in life, you are not failing, you are not incomplete. Marriage is not a race, it is a responsibility. What should you do? Set boundaries, protect your peace, choose readiness over reputation. Say not yet without feeling guilty. And most importantly, know that marriage does not define your self-worth. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, whether married or not. I know that this is a complex topic with no easy answers, and I also know that I've only scratched the surface. Now, if you've dealt with marriage pressure from any angle, I'd love to hear your story in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. If you know someone dealing with this pressure, please share this video with them. And if you're a parent living under pressure, also share with parents like yourself. Because the more we share, the more we learn and we grow together. Finally, you must remember that marriage is one of life's most permanent decisions. It shouldn't be made to silence questions. It shouldn't be made to prove worth. It shouldn't be made to satisfy culture or calm parental anxiety. It should be entered into with emotional readiness, with self-awareness, with clarity of purpose, and with peace of mind. If you are feeling pressured, confused, or torn, please seek counseling early. Because preparation prevents pain and wrong decision making. Again, I say, share this video and subscribe for more honest conversations on marriage, relationships, and emotional health. And if you're ready for guidance, explore my counseling services and my relationship resources. You'll find the links in the description. Marriage is too sacred to be rushed and too important to enter under pressure. As always, my name is Taya Luko. God bless you. See you in the next video and bye-bye.